Hello BookTube! Welcome to Lizziefaye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth and this is part 2 of my July book hauls. Now if you saw my video yesterday, you know that I showed you most of what I got during the month of July through the early part of the month, and I told you I went to several different library book sales. I made a trip to a Salvation Army. I also went to a Goodwill, but I didn't find anything there, and a couple of flea market bookstores and all of that, and I just had a fantastic reading month. Now if you didn't see that video, I will link it down below, or you can just go to my channel and go back one video and you'll find it. But you know, if you didn't see that video, you're probably thinking, okay, didn't you just purge a bunch of books? Why are you buying new books? But I said in my yesterday's video, I really did pretty good, mainly getting books that are going to be given away, or I got a few for eBay and all of that. There's very few that are actually staying with me on my shelves, and so I think I did okay. But what I wanted to do today is show you the rest of what I got in the month of July, and all of these are from the very last Monday of July, which was actually the first day of Booktubeathon. I went on kind of a bookish adventure. My favorite library sale that that happens in this area is about 45 minutes from me to the north, and they do a book sale twice a year, and I don't usually go on the first couple of days because that's when everything is individually priced. But if you wait until the next Monday, so they had their regular price sale on Friday, Saturday, and then on Monday the 30th, they had fill a box for $5, and that is my favorite day to go. You can use one of their boxes because they have plenty, or you can bring your own or whatever. Well, I happen to have on my porch a pretty good sized box that I took with me, and so I'll show you the box in just a minute. But in the top of the box, I've got in a bag here all of the books that I got for the Little Free Library, which we have downtown in our little town here. It was originally put up by the Historical Society, and I'm supposed to be the steward, although I haven't been a very good steward lately, but I'm trying to do better. So I got this bag full of children's books, and most of what's in here are the little picture books, that type of thing. I'm not going to show them all to you, but I did get Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. I got a reading textbook, that type of thing. So there's a few chapter books, stuff like that, and some board books for the younger crowd. Just I tried to get a nice sampling of books. And then there's some on the floor, and you know, some little books like this. So altogether there's maybe 35 books in this bag, and these are all for the Little Free Library downtown. Now I did decide to hang on to a couple of the children's books until I read them myself. I found this one, which is a Newbery Honor book. My main goal is to read all the Newbery winners, but I am interested in reading Newbery Honor books as well, and I thought while this was in my possession, I would read it before I pass it on to someone else or Little Free Library or whatever. It's The 100 Dresses by Eleanor Estes. And then this is a Theodore Seuss Geisel honor book called Cowgirl Kate and Coco. Doesn't that look cute? And it's by Betsy, it's painted by Betsy Lewin, written by Erica Silverman. So that looks really cute. I think this may be a series, but I don't know for sure. The artwork is super cute. Just really adorable. And then for my daughter Emily, this was one of her favorite books as a young child, and she still has it, but it's so worn out and beat up. I thought she might enjoy another copy. This is this came out right after Blue's Clues switched hosts from Steve to Joe. So I think this was the first book about Joe. It's called Joe Moves In. And I mean, we wore that book out, reading it, looking at it. At one point, I probably had it memorized. So I thought it would be fun. And it's dog-eared too. Probably looks like it's been chewed on, but I'll disinfect it before I give it to her. And then I've been trying to get more graphic novels and comic books and things for her. So, I mean, she's 17, so she's not as interested in those same children's books as she used to be, and she seems to be really drawn to comic books. So I found 3 or 4 Simpsons comic books at the sale. There's 1 or 2 more, but they're somewhere in her room. She's already been looking at these and enjoying them. And this, I think, probably used to have a different cover, but she doesn't care. It's like a Simpsons magazine. And so I got her these, you know, like I said, it's fill a box. So whatever fits in your box is fair game. So I think I can lift up the box now. So here's my box. But I did good. Look, it's not really full. It's just got 1 layer. And then I laid the blue bag of the children's books in on top of it. And that was my box. So I got all of this for $5. So let me first show you my most exciting thing from the sale. I sometimes don't know where to start at a book sale because it kind of sometimes just depends on the way the room is set up. I don't like to miss anything. I like to try to cover everything and look at everything. Even if there's some categories I'm not interested in, sometimes books are mixed up. So you might find something you are looking for in the wrong section. So, you know, I just like to look at all of it. So usually at this sale, they have the children's books and the older books out in the lobby. So I think I did kind of peruse through those first, but I didn't spend a lot of time there because the children's section was really crowded. And I knew that the majority of the children's books I was going to get were for the Lizziefaye Library, and I don't care if they're picked over. I just kind of wanted to take some of what was left and fill up our Lizziefaye Library. So that was fine. But I did take a look at the older books, and I found 3 that I think my husband will probably put on eBay. These are those Whitman naked hardcovers. They don't have dust jackets or anything, but they're you know, colored. Obviously, they're very colorful. And usually the ones I see of these, you know, I don't guess they were really made all that well, but these particular ones maybe just haven't been read as much, and they're all still hanging on. Usually when I find these, they're all taped up. My own copies from when I was a kid are all taped up because they've just been worn out. So I got Combat the Counterattack. Let me put the others down so I can show you all around here. There's the spine. Usually there is some interesting in papers. So that's neat. I don't know anything about these, but I think these will probably be something we could sell on eBay. Noah Carr Yankee Firebrand. There's that. And the Post-it notes, I think, were from a previous owner where they had put price tags. Or maybe those were the prices from the individually priced day. I don't know. Whenever, you know, they didn't sell at in the original couple of days of the sale, that might have been the original prices. And then the third one is Roy Rogers, the Brazada Bandits. So that is awesome. Show the end papers. So, I don't know how much we can get for these. I haven't even really started looking at them. If any of you are interested in buying them before we even put them on eBay, let me know. And then I found this children's storybook, Bambi's Children. It's got a little bit of damage, but it might be, it's a wonder book. It might be something that we could put on eBay, and if not, then I will put it in our yard sale. But it's so pretty. And then a couple of readers. We have sold a few old school books like this on eBay and have had really good success with these. This one's called Trips to Take. It's on the back it says Indiana retail price 46 cents. Wow, look at that. And it has someone's address here, I'm sure from long ago, Richmond, Indiana. So obviously this originated in Indiana. And then this is a Lippincotts Silent Reading for Beginners by Emma Watkins. The end papers are just plain on this one. But here's some illustrations. So that's pretty cool. So those were the majority of the old books. Now I did get one old book for myself. This I believe I read as a child. This is Rose in Bloom by Louisa May Alcott. What I love about this is there's an inscription here. It says, "To Betty from Grandma C, Christmas 1939. Look at that. That's cool. I probably just read this from the library, and I never had my own copy. The only Louisa May Alcott book that I had as a child was Eight Cousins, and I still have it. I've collected more by her as an adult, and I didn't have that. In fact, while we're on the subject of Louisa May Alcott, I did find this, of course, in a newer edition. This is An Old-Fashioned Girl. I don't think I've ever read this, so that looks neat. And then from there, I went to the romances. I've been doing the summer romance book bingo this summer, and I've just been having a lot of fun with it. I've really gotten into reading Emily March and Geraldine Dawson, who are the same person. I've been reading Jodie Thomas, and who else? Who was the other author that I've been really getting into lately? Anyway, so I thought, you know, I'll just go to the romance first and see if I can find any that I'm interested in. Well, at the very beginning, I usually go, okay, I don't like to miss anything at a book sale. I already kind of mentioned that. So I start at one end, and at this particular sale, they have usually 3 to 4 rows of books just going across the table. So I see some people, you know, they'll kind of move down the table, and they'll just kind of like look at all the way across the table as they go. I am too afraid I'll miss something if I do that. I pick a row, usually the very first row, and I look at every single book as I go all the way down that row. And then I start back up the next row, and I come all the way up that row. So I know it sounds really anal, and I guess I am, but that's just how I do it. So in the very first row, like about the 4th book from the beginning, I found a misread book. And I'm trying to think which one it was. It might have been one that I was pretty sure I had. I think it was this one, Celebrations at Thrush Green. But the more I looked, the more misread books I found. And I have been looking for misread books. I can't even find them at used bookstores hardly, because they just don't turn up. And I ended up finding a total of 7 misread books. And I didn't even look to see if I had them. I just got them. So it turns out I already had 4 of them, but I still came out ahead by 3. And of the 4 that I already had, I believe 2 of them I have already sent to Linda Kay, who is another booktuber, and she had told me, you know, if you ever have extra misread books, you know, I'll take them. So I'm pretty sure, Linda, that I've already sent you Celebrations at Thrush Green. So I already have this myself. So if anybody else out there would like to have this, please let me know. And then I'm trying to think which other one that I already sent you. It might be Summer at Fairacre. So anyway, if that's not the right one, if you don't have this one, Linda, let me know and I'll send it to you. Then I also already have Farewell to Fairacre. So Linda, I will send that one your way. And then this one, I don't have this exact edition, and this is super cute, but I do have another Christmas book that has these 2 books plus 1 in it. This is a Christmas, Misread's Christmas Tales, contains Village Christmas and the Christmas Mouse. And like I said, I've got one that has those 2 stories and 1 more. So I don't need this. So Linda, if you want this one, I'll send you that too. So here are the 3 I'm keeping, and they are all from the same edition, and I don't already have any of these editions, so they don't match my other set, but that's okay. I have The Howards of Caxley, and this is not from Thrush Green or Fairacre series. This is from a 3rd series that only has 2 or 3 books in the whole series, and I think this is book 2. Yes, this is book 2 of the Caxley Chronicles, and I think there's only 2 if I recall correctly. Then this is number 9 in the Fairacre series, Tyler's Row. Did not have it. And then this is the one that I need to read next. It's book 3 in Thrush Green, News from Thrush Green. In fact, I already had it checked out from the library, and I turned that copy back in, and now I have my own. So I will be reading this ASAP. So you know, if I hadn't found another book that I wanted, those right there would have been worth my $5. I would have just gotten the misread books and left, even if that's all I had found. So that was awesome. And then I believe I'll give this to my husband, although I may read this too. I think we both enjoy stuff like this, kind of these old cracker stories. If Nothing Don't Happen by David M. Newell, an old-timey sampler of Florida cracker tales from the Withlacoochee River country. So the funny thing is that on that same day, I drove through the Withlacoochee forest to get to one of my other destinations after this book sale, and I didn't even make the connection. But the Withlacoochee River and the Withlacoochee Forest and everything is an area that's not that far from here. So this will be super fun to read. It's got some fun illustrations, and I am really excited to have that. So let's see what else now. I didn't really sort these in any sort of order. This stack is all to go elsewhere. I got this for my friend Mandy Garrett, who is a booktuber. I will link her channel down below. She's doing the Summer Romance Book Bingo as well, and we both read book 3 in the Welcome to Tyler series, and she mentioned that there were a few she still didn't have, and so I found 3 books from this series, and I had her list with me of the ones she still needed, and of the ones she still needed, this was the only one that they had. It is called Crossroads by Marissa Carroll. These are lettered instead of numbered, so this is J. There's only 12 of them, so what is that? It goes to L. So this is one of the later ones. I was hoping I could find the next one because I don't think she has book 4, but anyway, Mandy, I will be sending you Crossroads, and if I can find any more in the meantime before I get this mailed, I will include them too. For my friend Edgar, he doesn't watch my videos, but he is a huge Patti LaBelle fan. In fact, I think she really kind of knows him because every time he goes to one of her shows or concerts, he sends her favorite foods backstage. And so, you know, she will like spot him in the audience and thank him and all that. I don't know if he has this book, but I got to thinking about him when I saw this. It's called Patty's Pearls. And Edgar is my longtime coworker, and he's my Pepper Chef consultant. So I thought I would get this for him. Lessons in Living Genuinely, Joyfully, and Generously. So Edgar, Egg, if you happen to watch this, that's for you, and I will send that to you. I have a acquaintance who used to come to our book sales who always, she had, back when I was book sales chairman, asked me if I would just be on the lookout for books by Georgette Hare, and I've got a short stack ready to give her as soon as I see her or give her a call. So I keep adding to it. Here's one called Beauvalet, and just went ahead and picked that up for her. Then this is going to be a prize for next month's Mystery Book Club. We're reading a book by Reese Bowen. We're reading Her Royal Spyness. And as I said yesterday, my goal is always to find the second book in whatever series we're reading. And sometimes if I can't find that, then another book by the same author will have to do. So I found this one, Oh Danny Boy, and I hope that this is the first of a different series, because I don't like to give books that are in the middle of a series if I can help it. This is a Molly Murphy mystery, so that will be one of my door prizes for next month's Mystery Book Club. This will go on eBay. I mentioned yesterday that my husband has had really good success with these John D. MacDonald vintage paperbacks. This one is Pale Gray for Guilt, a Travis McGee novel, so that will go in the eBay inventory. And then one of the people from my original book sharing unhaul video that I still haven't sent stuff to yet, it might be Sherry Courts. Sherry, if you're watching this, I sent you a message on Twitter a while back, and I need you to answer me regarding one of the books. If it's, anyway, I think it was Sherry that said she hadn't read anything by Robin Hobb. So I've got another Robin Hobb book for her, and I think it's the second one in this series. And I ran across this one, which I think is the first one in this series, and I hated to send her the second one without the first one. So anyway, I'm going to send that to her. If it's not Sherry, then I'll correct it down below. But I'm pretty sure that this is going to Sherry. And just a couple more. I got this for, I may read this first, but at first I thought this was an adult book, and it was with the teen books, and I moved it over to the romances, and then I picked it up later because I was so drawn to the cover. Look at that awesome dress. And I realized that it is a teen book, Love in the Time of Taffeta by Eugenie Olson, and because it says a moving story of prom, bad behavior, and sequins. So I'm pretty sure it is a teen book, but I may read it first just because I'm curious about it, and maybe also to make sure that it's appropriate for the school little free library. But it looks kind of fun, and I thought I would take a look at it. And then this is one that's on Katie's shelf. I got it for, I don't know if she'll ever read it, but I found another copy of it, and I will probably put this in her high school little free library. Tales from My Closet by Jennifer Ann Moses. Clothes, drama, friends. So that looks fun. And I don't think I have a copy of Ella Enchanted. I don't really care if it's a movie version or not, so I grabbed this. I may read this, or I might just get it on audio and put this in the little free library. I don't know. I'm still deciding, but I haven't ever read the book. And then this is a movie on VHS that Emily already has, but hers is about worn out. It's got so many skips in it, and she loves VeggieTales, and this is one that she has watched multiple times. Madame Blueberry, and it's a lesson in thankfulness, and of course it's a VeggieTales movie. Oh, and I almost forgot, Elizabeth Tyree. I mentioned when I commented back from my yesterday's video that I had a couple more books for you. You can tell me if you have these or not. This one I don't remember ever sending you, A Wizard Abroad, and maybe it's one of the first 5 books which are in that bind-up that I sent you, but you could still have this one if you want it for your classroom, so I can send you that. And then I think I have sent you this one, but I went ahead and stuck it in, A Wizard Alone, and so if you want it for your classroom or whatever, then I will stick that in the box that I need to send you, so let me know in the comments. And I guess that's it. So that's everything that I got at that big sale. So from there, I decided to kind of have an adventure, and I went, so that town is north of me, and I went west for about another half hour, 40 minutes, to the county where I first moved to when I first moved to Florida. There is a small town there called Webster, and they have a gigantic flea and farmers market every Monday, no matter what, whether it's a holiday or it doesn't matter if it's raining or holiday or what. Every single Monday there's going to be a market. So I hadn't been in probably 12 to 15 years. It had been a long time since I went. So Emily was with me, and we walked around a little bit, and that's where I found my baby butternuts, which if you saw my Booktubeathon wrap up, that's where I got my little butternut squashes. But at that same flea market, I was asking around. I said, is there any stalls that sells books, or mostly books? And a couple of people pointed me to one seller who has, he's in the section which are indoor. They have stalls, almost like a storage unit building with big garage doors that close down, which makes sense. If you're going to sell books, you need a dry place. You can't just have open air and expect your books to hold up. So he hardly had anything that I wanted. He had a lot of books, but there was hardly anything that I was looking for. But he did have some Jody Thomas books, and I actually already showed this one yesterday, not realizing that I was going to be kind of telling you about that whole day. But anyway, it's this one, Texas Blue by Jody Thomas. If you want to know more about it, I talked a little bit about this series in my yesterday's video. So from there, I went to another town where my sister had asked me if I, might possibly go to get her a row by row pattern for her row by row quilt. And that quilting store, even though it was advertised that they were open on Monday, they were not there. And even their library, I thought, well, I'll make this not a completely wasted trip. I'll go to the library and see if they have any books for sale. Well, their library was closed on Mondays too. So I went to a thrift store, and I thought, you know, I'll see if they have books. And the only book they had that I was even remotely interested in was a book by Lori Wick, and I had just bought it at this sale, and I just realized it's not in this box. So let me go find it and I'll show it to you. Oh my goodness, there were 3 books from this sale that I had taken out of the box to catalog and had forgotten to put them back in the box. So that actually ups my total that I'm keeping from this sale to about 11 or 12. So let me show you these really quick. And I even mentioned this one yesterday, and I can't believe that I had forgotten about it. I found the 4th book in the Gresham Chronicles by Lawana Blackwell, The Jewel of Gresham Green. And the other thing I really like about this library is that all of their cataloging are taped on top of the plastic. Some libraries will put their barcode underneath, and then they'll cover the whole book with plastic, and you can't get it off without ruining the book. So this will come off fairly easily, which is exciting. So these are beautiful books, and now I have all 4. I didn't even know when I found the first 2 that there were 4 and that I would be able to find them all within the month. So I've heard that these are excellent books, and I'm super excited to have those. So the Lori Wick book, I found this at the book sale, and this was the only book they had at the thrift store that I was even remotely interested in, and I had already bought it at the other sale. This is To Know Her by Name by Lori Wick, and this is from the Rocky Mountain Memories series. I don't know anything about the series, and I don't have any other books from the series, but Lori Wick is kind of becoming an auto-buy author for me, although I think she has a lot of books, and I don't know that I want to collect them all, but I have gotten a few of her series started that I'd like to go ahead and collect. And then here's another series that I'm kind of thinking about revisiting. This is by Lori Wilde, The First Love Cookie Club. I read the Sweetheart Knitting Club a few years ago. I had it checked out from the library. No, I didn't. I bought it from our library book sale because it had the word knitting in the title, which is kind of one of my buzzwords. And I read it during jury duty. The first time I had ever had to go to jury duty. I didn't end up getting picked, but I had to sit there all day. And I read about 1/4 of the book just sitting there a few hours. And I went on and finished it, and it was just okay. I wasn't excited about it. I didn't end up sending it to my sister or recommending it or anything like that. It wasn't bad. It wasn't horrible, but I keep seeing these pop up, and they're from that same series. The Sweetheart Knitting Club was the first in the series. So I love the covers. I'm such a sucker for pretty covers. And it just makes me want to revisit the series. So I might just go ahead and do it. And I don't even know what number this one is. This looks like it's number 3. So the second one is the True Love Quilting Club. So I'm going to look for it and read that one next, and then get to this one. And I think I have 1 or 2 others from the series already that are over here on my shelf of mass market paperbacks. So anyway, I'm going to revisit this series. So that, I think, is all that I got, except for there was one more that I've already given away at Mystery Book Club, which I showed yesterday in the haul, because I knew that I wouldn't get a chance to film this video till today. Okay, so one more book, though. So after I exhausted all the possibilities in that one town and kept coming up empty, I started heading for home. I got back on the road and I was almost home, and I had maybe a couple of minutes before I had to pick up Kate. Well, no, I had like 20 extra minutes, and I was going to have to pick up Katie. So I stopped in at a used it turned out it was more of a used furniture store. And I'm almost out of time, but they did have a couple of books, and I found a book I've been looking for forever. It's the Emperor Pickletine Rides the Bus, an Origami Yoda book. The only one I didn't have from this series. So before I run out, I'm going to go. Have a great day, read a good book, and God bless you.